Hey, GLP-1 plus sides community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better. And my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Welcome to the Plus Sides Podcast. You are probably asking, where's Kat? Because usually I go, hey, Kat, right? She's not here. And that's because tonight I'm doing a special episode with my family. So for those of you who've been here a long time, since the beginning, you know that I've been on this journey on GLP-1s for 3.5 years. And when I started this journey, I really thought it was all about weight loss, but by having on the doctors and the people who come on and tell their amazing stories, you have changed my life completely. And this has all rippled out to my family. And I wanted you to have a chance to meet them. And so we're going to talk a lot about today what that's been like and what their personal journeys have been like with both my mom and my sister who have been struggling with obesity for different reasons, different times, all the different things it included, and then what this has done for our family. So it will 100% squirrel. So you think Kat and I are bad with the squirreling? No. Guess why? Because my mom made us. And so my sister and I are both squirrely squirrels, and it is all my mom's fault. So, it works okay on the internet though, right guys? You're good? Happy? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I hope you'll hang with us. It should be an interesting adventure and I love you and I'm so thankful for all of you. Let's get started. Hey, Mom.
Hey.
Hey, Sam.
Hello. It was a gift from my mother.
These are my fellow squirrels. We have the ADHD.
Yeah, thank you.
We're glad to have you. Thanks for coming on the show. Mom's been on something called Moments with Mom a couple times, which is bonus episodes where we've talked about her journey. Sam has not been on yet. Sam is my baby sister. We are besties. We are 11 years apart. Oops.
Sometimes.
And she's been on this journey, and I just thought it
But
would be
both
really good.
mine.
I know. We're both yours.
Look how young I look.
You look amazing, Mom.
Mom, you do. My gosh. Kills me.
Mom goes, Kimmy, like, you can't see me. I'm in the dark. I'm like, well, do you have like a little selfie light? She's like, what? Hey, Mom, do you remember that time I bought you that little camera, that little cat? It was like a cat selfie.
Yes.
That's what you need. Do you know where that is?
She
don't
does.
have a
Didn't think so. That's
She
okay.
does.
You
Very
look a little bit
good.
like in silhouette. You're a little in silhouette for those
It's
who are
good.
watching.
I'm old. I need to be in the dark.
Yeah, please. You have allergies.
Maybe should have done this earlier, but you could move that lamp. Don't do it now.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
do
do it. It'll be weird.
No.
She's doing it. No, squirrel. You cannot tell squirrel. Hey,
Don't
squirrel,
move
move
it
this
now.
thing and go, but don't do it.
Okay. I have my phone here. I can turn the flashlight on.
No.
All right. So here's what I think we should do. I think we've had some pretty big news this week, actually, where President Trump has basically, I don't know, even we're still like in an earthquake from the sky, so we're not sure, but is going to have Medicare cover these medications for obesity, and there'll be a lot of different things involved there that we don't know yet. Like we're all kind of like figuring out what the policy is going to look like, but something we've been talking about with Moments with Mom, where she and I really talk about sort of healing from like all this diet culture crap we've gone through and what it's been like on the medicine and stuff like that and getting access to the medicine. So with that happening, I feel like a lot of things have changed. And I thought it would be good for those that don't know Mom. Maybe we start with Mom's story. And she just sort of tells us about what's like for her, what it's been like with her weight growing up and in being, being a mom and what it's been like. And then what it's been like on the medicine and like different kinds of access and stuff that you've gotten. I think if we could kind of understand that for our friends that have not seen the bonus content, by the way, sign up to be a member. So you can get the bonus content. I am not a rich advocate. Please help. Thank you. Go do it now. So tell us, Mom, what is your weight journey? Tell us that.
Well, in a nutshell, I never struggled with weight until after I started having you guys.
Yeah.
After I had you, I was younger, right?
Yeah.
And then as I waited and had another child later in life, and then another child, I was older. And getting the weight off wasn't as easy. It was a struggle after being pregnant. And the older I got, the harder it got. And I just figured that was life. You just deal with it. You gain weight. I mean, it was like this for me all the time, roller coaster. I would lose a ton of weight. I'd gain it all back. I'd lose a ton of weight. I'd get everything, Weight Watchers, quick weight loss, all the things, lose the weight, gain it back. And it wasn't until in the last few years, Kim, when you were investigating and finding out about weight loss things and what's a better way to handle it and obesity and I can remember the first time I went to the doctor and they said, we need to put you on a diet because you're obese. And I think at that time, I don't know, maybe it weighed 150, 160. I didn't think I was overweight. I didn't feel overweight, but they said I was. And so I guess when I started putting on extra pounds from that, I did feel uncomfortable about my weight. And that's when I would start going on another diet, losing more weight. Anyway, fast forward, these last few years, we've been through some drama in our lives, especially the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah. And with all that, I continued to put on weight, just, I don't know, overeating, not thinking about what you're eating, not being practical, the whole bit. And before I knew it, I was back up to 170 some pounds and I felt miserable, just miserable. And in the meantime, you had gone on with your journey with your medicines and a doctor that was helping you with what is called obesity. And you started losing weight and wonderful. You looked wonderful and you just kept losing more and more. And it was amazing to watch. And anyway, at some point, you said, to me, something about I'm put you in touch with the doctor because I was depressed. I was totally depressed from all the stuff going on in the family. Basically dad's leukemia, being sick, and our world being turned upside down, and selling our home of 30 years, and me doing all this stuff, and COVID, and you girls really couldn't help me. And it was just kind of crazy. And then poor Jessie getting diagnosed with her cancer, your sister's, my other daughter, was just another thing. And so anyway, at that point, you hooked me up with Dr. What's his name?
Dr. Albert.
Yeah. Dr. Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Give me Dr. Albert because he knows how much I respect him and love him.
I know.
I couldn't remember because I don't
Can't
know
watch it.
Dr.
He's
Not your
Albert.
fault, Dr. Albert.
But anyway, I can't. Point being made, I can't use Dr. Albert anymore.
Yeah.
Because Medicare doesn't pay for the medicine, and he has no way to give the medicine to me that I can afford. So I had to stop using him. Which, fast forward, I went on the GLP-1 Ozempic over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was back prior to going to New York with our sick Jessie and dealing with her chemo, radiation, and several operations, one which was a liver transplant. This all went on for a year and or longer, and still kind of goes on with things after and all. But that's when I started the GLP-1 Ozempic, and it was the lowest dose that Dr. Albert had me on. And at that time, Medicare was paying for it. So it was not great. It was still costing Dad and I a lot of money for me to stay on that drug, which I thought was a lot, several $100s or more a year, every month to stay on it. But we did it, and it was helping me a lot. Not so much just with losing weight because I was on the lowest dose.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, it really kept me sane when I was going through all I went through in New York by myself, being with Jessie. Yeah. And it just showed me that something was obviously wrong inside of me that was making me be kind of a mess. And by being on this GLP-1 Ozempic, everything just kind of smoothed out. And the only thing that I can figure that helped me through that was that drug, because I wasn't taking anything else. And Dr. Albert went through the steps with me too when I was dealing with him. We didn't just start off with Ozempic.
Yeah.
He started off, he said, you're clinically depressed, and that's why you're gaining weight, and that's why you're in the place you're in. And I'd like to try some things. And so we tried all the things. We started with metformin. We went to something else, 2 or 3 other things. Yeah. Yes, we did Wellbutrin. And Wellbutrin, to me, I felt great, but I was a little loopy. I think I was a little loopy. But also it made my blood pressure shoot up. And so we had to stop it. So at some point, he said, I really want you to try Ozempic. And he was able to write the prescription, and we were able to submit it through my Medicare prescription program. And I got it, but I paid quite a bit of money up front, big deductible. And then after that, the donut hole in the hole, that anybody on Medicare knows what I'm talking about. How one minute you go pick it up. Oh, it's $200 this month. The next month you pick it up. Oh, it's $500 this month, stuff like that, up and down. Anyway, fast forward again from Ozempic to still dealing with Dr. Albert and using Medicare till the beginning of 2025. Was it this year that all of a sudden Medicare didn't pay for it? So I went with my new prescription program that I signed up for, where I was paying $1,200 a year to have this prescription insurance, and to find out that I was not a candidate for Medicare to cover it because I was not considered diabetic. Okay. So anyway, I ended up having to figure out how to pay it out of pocket. And that got kind of crazy. But then Dr. Albert came through with an idea where they were hooked up with in the UK, a pharmacy that we could get the medicine at a price where I would get a pen that was like, I think, a 15 milligram pen of the Ozempic. And I could turn it and get it to the level of what I was taking, which I think was...
It was Manjaro, right?
Was it Manjaro or Ozempic?
It was Manjaro, because Manjaro has 15 milligrams. So I just want people to get confused.
All right. No, you're right. You're totally right. We stopped Ozempic
Right.
because Medicare wouldn't pay for me to have it
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
And then he said, I think I can get Manjaro for you. Would you consider going and trying that? And I thought, of course. Well, you're my doctor. If you think that'll do the same for me, he goes, I think you'll actually be happier on this one. So he put me on Manjaro, and we did get it from the UK. And I was able to get the 15 milligram pen. I was able to click it and get the number I needed to stay on it. It was fabulous from the beginning. I wished I'd been on it the whole time. I think it was easier than Ozempic. I think it was a better drug. I think it was a better answer for me. And so, anyway, I did that with him for a good while until all of a sudden he couldn't get it from UK anymore at the price that we were getting it at. I think I was averaging around $200 a month on that medicine because of the click pen, because I could buy the pen for, I want to say, I don't know, $600 and something. And then I could break it up and make it work for 3 months. So I was averaging 200 a month being on that. And that was perfect. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was a heck of a lot better. Anyway, all of a sudden you can't get it from UK anymore. So then I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't afford the other. And lo and behold, I had a doctor's appointment with my primary doctor moving forward to today. And she said, I'll write the prescription for you. And I said, Dr. Carver, it's not the prescription, it's the cost. I won't be able to get it through Medicare, and they won't pay for it for me. And so anyway, she said, well, I have compound. I can get you compound. And I went, okay. So I thought, if my primary doctor is recognizing the fact that I need to be on the drug and knows that what the drug has done for me, I've lost 25 pounds. I mean, I haven't melted, I'm still got plenty of weight on me. I'm comfortable. I'm average. I weigh 153 pounds right now. I went from 178 to 153 in 2.5 years. So it wasn't like I was dropping tons, but for me, it was a gradual coming down. And anyway, she said, I can get you Manjaro. And then she told me it would cost me $500 a month, but it would be a vial thing like this. And because of the way I would do it to myself with the syringe and all, I could use the dose I needed and make that last me longer. So right now, that's what I'm doing. And I'm able to stay at 7.5 on the Manjaro. And it lasts me not quite 3 months, because I'm at the 7.5. And it did go up to exactly $500. Right around 500. It was, I want to say it was 465, but it went up to 495. So right now it's at 500. Okay. So that's what I'm doing now. And and at first I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do compound, because Dr. Albert was like, no, compound. Yeah. And Dr. Carver said, I've used it. There's not a big difference. You can't tell. Mm-hmm. And I went, well, if my primary doctor is saying, yes, I want you to stay on it. Yes, I think you could use it and need it. I'll write you the prescription. It's in Cumming, which is where you live, Kim, not far from us, at a pharmacy. And I said, okay. So she wrote me the prescription. They called me the next day and said that they would mail it to me or I could come up and get it. I ended up going the first time to get it. I just wanted to check out the pharmacy, kind of look around and stuff. Perfect. There was not a thing wrong with it. The lady was as nice as she could be. It was nice, normal situation. Didn't look, sketchy or anything. And I got my first vial, and then just recently I ordered my second one from them. So I've been on it for
3 months at a time. So you pay,
I would say almost 12 weeks that I've been on it, and I've lost another 5 or 6 pounds since I started on it. So, I mean, it made a difference. And I cannot tell a difference from using a pen of Manjaro from the manufacturer or using this compound. I can't tell a difference. She told me there was B12 in it. They have to do that. And I'm just saying, I do not want to live in a world where I can't have my compound or my Manjaro or whatever. Right. Because since I've been on this medicine, I don't have that issue of the yo-yo and, oh God, I'm up 5 pounds. Oh gosh, I'm up 10 pounds. I got to start dieting again, all that. I don't have to think about that at all. All I do is make my choices. When I eat something, when I hit the point where I don't need it or want it anymore, I stop eating it. Yeah. And I don't gain weight, and I continue to lose a little bit here and there. Yeah. At the 7.5.
What has it done for your health outside of the weight and the scale?
Oh, my blood pressure medicine has dropped.
Mhm.
I am on medicine for arthritis. I'm on medicine for reflux. I'm on medicine for high blood pressure. For years, I've been on high blood pressure medicine, and from 100 milligrams of a blood pressure medicine to 50 milligrams of a blood pressure medicine. I also can cut back on my reflux medicine, and I can use some over the counter. I can't do it completely because of the medicine I'm on for arthritis.
Mm.
But because of the medicine I'm on for arthritis and because of the losing the weight and staying active and all, I am able sometimes to skip the medicine for
Mhm.
arthritis.
Mhm.
So it's been nothing but good. There's
Mhm.
only good for me
Yeah.
since
So
I've
it's
been on these
your like
GLP-1s.
inflammation then from the arthritis too, right? Like you feel
Oh,
like
sure. Oh,
inflammation is
sure. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And I know from what I've read, I don't have heart issues, but I
Mhm.
know from what I've read that it also is helping my heart
Yeah,
and
it's
liver
cardio protective,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have friends who have gone to doctors just for weight loss and
Mhm.
ordered the compound and are
Mhm.
using it, and they are losing weight. Um,
Yeah.
and I I don't have a problem with it. Anybody uses it for or does it for.
Yeah, I
All
do.
I know is for me, I believe there was something in me, something with my sugar balance. Either I was
Mhm.
hypoglycemic or borderline diabetic or something, but not showing up in blood work
Mhm.
that would cause me to yo-yo like I have over the last 30 some years of my life.
Yeah.
And to be at a place now where it's just normal. I just feel normal.
Normal.
You
Yeah.
know, I just feel like, do you want that? Oh gosh, no, I couldn't eat that if I had to.
I know.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Yeah,
in the
I do, yeah.
past, well, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, we all know.
in the past of my life, oh God, yeah, give me another one
Yeah,
right
for
now.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful feeling
Yeah.
not to have that. It
Yeah.
really is. It really is.
That's
And
good.
I just, like I said, I don't want to live in a world that doesn't have a GLP-1.
I know, right? I think a lot of people feel that way, right? Because,
Yeah.
it's very much like I think when I first started on it and I talk about on the show a lot, I definitely thought it was about weight loss. And why is that? Because anytime I would go to the doctor, there was always you need to lose weight, right? So I always thought the weight was the problem, right? And ultimately the weight was the symptom. Right. The weight was the symptom of the disease and weight is regulated in your brain. And so I learned that about the first year on the podcast, right? Like interviewing these experts. And then I realized it wasn't about weight loss at all, that it's actually just about health gain, right? And that health gain could be, you know, losing weight on a scale, losing inflammation, gaining muscle, mental health, community, nutrition. I think all of those different things equal what I think people refer to as lifestyles changes in the past. And they sort of make them possible or they make them able to stick. And so I
Mm.
think that like a lot of this journey for me over 3.5 years has been learning that, right? Learning that this is a chronic disease, and
I agree.
understanding that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you and my children,
Yeah.
I got the same.
Yeah.
You guys have got some of the same stuff going on I've had going on.
Yeah.
And thank God you're catching it early,
Yeah.
and you won't have this 30 years that I went through up and down and all of that. And I'm just grateful, Kimmy, that you went and did what you did when you did it and can, improved your health, your well-being, your mental, ability, your mental health, everything so much that it was just miraculous to watch you
Yeah.
and to see what you were doing. And if it hadn't been for you, I would have never come down this journey like I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just it's interesting how much it's changed our family. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it
I
really
wouldn't
has, like
because you know why? Do you think when you go to a doctor now,
Mhm.
back but 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and you walk in there and they go, "Oh yeah, here's your diet, eat a salad,
absolutely.
lose weight and all," that was that.
Yeah.
But now they're like handing you out compound like it's a lollipop.
I know.
And you're like, "What happened? What the heck? 2 years of this
Yeah.
stuff." And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, oh yeah, we want to get on board with this too.
Yeah.
I've been to 2 different primary doctors and they both wanted to write me a prescription for compound.
Quick pause here.
I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs force me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast has partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
I think two things. One, they've realized they can make money doing that. And two, there's so much data. Like that's the thing is people thought this was new, like when it was all happening 3 years ago, but we have 20 years of data on GLP medications and all of the.
I would have never known about any of that.
But nobody was
for you.
really talking about it, right? Until we started getting on TikTok and talking about it. And then they started having these results of these studies come out and people started paying attention to the studies and the peer-reviewed articles in the journals of like how it was protecting your heart. And I was doing all these different things. I think something to consider, right, is the problem with the food, right?
Yeah.
And I do think that, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, and I'm curious on your journeys, and we're going to get to Sam next. But like, the things that I'm interested in eating for the most part are not the things that I obsessed about before.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like, and it's not because I'm like, oh, that might make me gain a pound. It's just because I have a couple of bites and it doesn't trigger whatever it is in my brain, dopamine, receptors, whatever, more than just needing a little bit, as opposed to feeling like I need to eat the whole thing and then some, and the whole pizza and the whole pie and the whole cake. I don't have that anymore. Now I do. If I want a piece of fried chicken, I eat a piece of fried chicken. I just don't eat 5 pieces of fried chicken, right? If I want a cake, I eat like 3 or 4 bites of a cake. I just don't eat the whole cake. I don't even eat the whole piece of the cake, right?
Yes.
So like that for me has been huge, is the things that I'm actually interested in. Like with the things that taste good to me.
You know what I love is remember the day of being in the car driving around. You're like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll go over there. I'm not even hungry, but I want to go there and eat that or have that because it's close and I can drive through and get it and it makes me feel good. I'm not even hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that now? It is such a wonderful feeling to be in the car and be driving and pass all the crap.
Yeah.
And not have one feeling of I need to stop and get something there because I might want it or I might want to eat it later or something.
Yeah.
I mean, or I say to myself, I'm kind of hungry, but at home I have leftover tuna fish or leftover chicken or something. I can go home and eat that. And I'm only going to take 4 bites of it anyway. So why do I want to go in there and spend $10?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I
Oh my
mean,
god, I
that's
totally can
amazing.
relate. That car thing, like, I actually remember I was on the medicine for a few months, and I was driving to get my hair done, and that's, like, my time, right? I'm gonna go get what I want, I'm gonna give me a hot dog, I'm gonna a chili dog or something, like, I'm gonna get a boba tea, I'm gonna get something. It's just my time away, not being a mom or a wife or a friend
Hmm.
or it's just me, right? I'm getting my hair, that's my thing, you know? So
Yeah.
I'll go, and I remember driving and being like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go get a hot dog," and then I was like, "No, I don't really want that." And then driving a little more and being like, "Oh, I get that." And I'm like, "No, I don't really want that." And then I realized in that moment what I was able to do. Like, I
Yes.
had never been able to do that mental
Me
gymnastics before.
neither.
Well, like a lot of times I talk to people about what food noise turning off for me is like. And it was like I was a car and I only had eat, 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 consume. But when I got on the medicine, I had brakes, right? I had a steering wheel. I could drive. I could roll the windows down. I could reverse, all of these
Right.
different tools that I could do with my brain that I could not do before because I was
Right.
plagued by that noise. You know what I mean? And so it's interesting, like, even as my mom, that you're describing the car, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
genetics is a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Kimberly,
true.
where did you, just out of curiosity, because I don't quite remember,
It's been a
where
long
were you when this first started for you? Did you go
full
to a doctor's appointment and the
I did.
doctor said, we want to put you on this drug to help you lose weight? Is that how
Yeah,
it started?
it was after 2020. I had hurt my back. And you couldn't really go to doctors for things like that. And I finally went to the doctor and got those shots in my back, the radio frequency ablation. And I was like, I need to do better by my son. I've gained so much weight. It was already big, right? But I always struggled with this, but I was like, I need to go do a physical. So I went to physical and I talked with her and she was like, ultimately, every time I see you, it's going up and up. Like, I'm even seeing your blood sugar go up. We need to do something about this. And I had walked in and I had been talking to the nurse before I got there. And I was like, I'm so upset. I'm trying to diet and I cannot lose more than 10 pounds. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it. And I feel like awful about it. And then I walked in and there was a nurse practitioner that I had when I was there. And she had her computer down and she sat down with me and she was like, listen, I heard you saying you were upset that you only lost 10 pounds and 10 pounds is such a win. And I'm sad that you feel that way. 10 pounds is such a win. And
Mm,
I got in a place to just receive. Do you know what I'm saying? Like having her tell me that I had done something well, even though I was there 350 pounds. Right. And
right.
I was like, okay, what do we do? Right. Instead of being like I am with every other doctor before this, where all they told me to do was eat less and move more. And I was like, whatever, man. It isn't like I haven't tried everything. I've been dieting since I was a little girl. Like, no. So I
Mhm.
got in a place to receive her message. And she said, it's just going to get worse. And when you come back in a year, we're going to be having a very different conversation. Right. And I don't want that. She was like, there are medicines that can help you now. Now there's a shortage. So I'm going to do what I can to get you approved for this one because this one's available. And that was the daily one. Right. And I was like, okay, and I
What
tried
was the first one you went on?
Dexendovictoza. So
Okay.
it's called
Got it.
liraglutide. It's the daily one. So it's pretty
Right.
old. It was proved for obesity in 2012. So
Okay.
it's been like after I had Warren, I was like, man, I wish I had started right after I had Warren, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
But
give her all the more
I
Warren.
know how I kind of remembered that it
Yeah.
was something like that. And I
Yeah.
kind of remembered it was some of the very first ones
Yeah.
that you did before you went and got on to the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah.
But, and we were just watching and we went, gosh, Kim, you look great. You're losing weight. I can tell.
Yeah.
And that was when you started with
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
drugs and stuff. And like
Yeah,
I
and I
said,
remember you asked me
it
like,
was,
"Kimmy, do you
us
want this?"
parents learn from our children
Yeah,
all the time.
you
And
do.
I
I mean,
would not have known. I would have been I would have been so late going to the party if it hadn't
sure.
been for you. Let me
Oh,
just say.
yeah.
So I'm very
I
happy
remember
to have
you
had
being,
you.
like, in a bad way. Like,
Yeah.
you told me, "Not good," you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, what?" I knew that you were struggling with, like, as mom mentioned, our dad, has cancer, he has chronic leukemia. Our sister also had cancer and had to get a liver transplant. She's very young. She's my middle sister. And it has been hell for our family and for my sister too, going through this and within a short amount of time from each other. So the stress and the rallying of all trying to be there and help has been very stressful, though, specifically on my mother. And
Anyway,
anyway,
it all
so
happened the way it was
when all that
supposed to
happened,
happen. Yeah.
mom was not in a good place.
Yeah.
And she came to me and was talking about going to this med spa that all her friends were going
Oh
to
yes,
and
and
getting
I
on
did.
semaglutide.
It
And I
was
was like,
free. I did.
And it was so expensive. They were
And you
charging
said, "Mom, don't do
$100.
that."
And I was
Yeah.
like, you
I
are
didn't
not
know
going to do that. I
Yeah,
know.
that's when you hooked me up with Dr.
And I
Albert.
was like, you're going to go see Dr. Albert. Like, he sees people in Georgia. He's an obesity specialist. No. And you were like, okay, and then you
Yeah.
did. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I know you saw like possible relief. You saw all these people doing these things and the
Yes.
success that they were having. And you were like, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, let's get insurance to cover it. Like, let's try,
Yeah.
and that's what I want everyone to listen to, like, because of that. Because even though like we are in a different place, yes, not all insurances cover it, but you should try and you should fight and you should appeal.
I
So
did.
don't ever just give up. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
did. I did all that. They
doing
just,
Yeah.
sorry, unless
Yeah.
you're diabetic, we're not paying for it.
But at first they would have said, you would have thought even to begin with that they wouldn't have done it.
I
Right.
don't
But
know
we
why
did
they
it.
paid for it for a year.
Yeah.
And then
I
all of a
really
sudden,
think
no more.
it's because it was allowed at the time, right? And the plan that you had, they started, quote, cracking down on it because so many people, more than they anticipated, were getting
Well,
on
it's
it and
Medicare.
all of
It
that.
was all Medicare.
Yeah.
It was all run by Medicare.
Yeah.
If Medicare didn't approve it, you ain't getting it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's what we have.
Mhm.
We're retired. That's what we have.
Yeah.
And they paid for it for a year. That's why it made no sense. And even Dad was on it
Yeah.
for being diabetic, and they did not pay for all of his either. He was
Yeah.
paying a hunk of money out of his pocket,
Yeah.
still
That's
using it
what
through Medicare,
with our
using
dad
it
as
for
well.
diabetes.
Yeah. Now I don't have my dad on the show because he'll just roll his eyes. But my dad has been on all of these, like Trulicity. He's been on GLP-1s with insulin. He's not on insulin anymore. He's on Manjaro now. We have seen, I think, a significant change in him since he's been on Manjaro.
Significant.
With, I
Yes.
think, inflammation in his brain
And
like
Ozempic. Ozempic was helpful too. He was
his
on that for
kidneys
a
were
long time.
improving. His heart's been improving. Everything's been improving.
Well, the chemo is what hurts all that.
chemo
But,
hurts that, yeah.
we are in a good place with Dad now being in remission, and they've taken him off the chemo for a spell.
Yeah.
And seeing how things are going. So, fingers crossed we can
Yeah.
stay that way. Because actually going off that chemo helps that Manjaro to do its job even better.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that for sure.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll stay on that same path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Well, let's talk to Sam now.
Let's do.
Let's talk to me.
I've been trying to put you on forever, and you're just too daggone busy, but you're here now.
Here she is.
Yeah, here she is. She's gorgeous. I'm so glad to have you. I would love for you to tell us about your story. I know Mom is here, and I know we've got some stuff because there's no way you're going to grow up with a family and diet culture and all the things and not have some stuff. I don't want you to feel like you can't say things. Mom's here. Mom has heard me say all the things. It's a safe space. So I want you to feel free to say all the things you felt because it will affect our audience, like you being very honest and vulnerable about it because they'll go, that sounds like me. They'll sound like me.
No, Mom and we've talked about a lot of our stuff when it comes to that. I remember there was a time where not because Mom was trying to be critical of me in any way, but because she cared when I was kind of at like my highest weight going through some of the worst and heaviest stuff in my life.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, I don't like looking at you. It was like, hey, I care about you and I recognize this in myself. Are you okay? And I was like, look, I know that this is coming from a good place, but I'm at a spot in my life right now where I actually just need you until the foreseeable future to never ask me about my weight. Like, I just need you to not ask me about it,
Mm-hmm.
And Mom was like, yep, got it. Sounds good. Like, totally, I understand. Because my, I was born in 90, kind of grew up in the 90s and 2000s with the Olsen twins and heroin chic and all of that. And there were definite like pockets of my life where I felt like, huskier or like chubbier or whatever than like any of my friends. But I never, looking back, would like put myself in a category of like, whoa, that was like a really big problem. It was just like kids and growth in life and whatever. But I have these memories. Like I remember the first time I had the thought of like, oh my God, I hate my body was my 10th birthday party. It was like Hawaii beach themed and we did it in the pool and in the basement. And I like remember I was like taking pictures with all my friends and it was like, which hilariously, I have no memory of who else was there other than Libby, but it was Libby who was younger than me and like this big because her body and her genes are different. That whole family are beanpoles. You know what I mean? And, but I didn't know that at 10 years old. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I hate myself. Like, look at her. I want to look like that. And, we took like Polaroid photos at that party, and I remember like hiding in them. And then later in life, I found those photos, and I remembered feeling like I want to hide in this picture. And that makes me just so sad for my younger self, you know?
Makes
Anyway,
me
so
sad.
yeah. And I, you know, this is not, it's just being a child who's a sponge, observing and retaining things. This wasn't anything that either of you said or put on me, but your own journeys were all witnesses to everything around us. You know what I mean? And I remember both of you having journeys like this. And we were always a very open, talkative family. So we would always talk about, you know, what we're eating, what we're not eating, and, you know, mom's perfect bite mentality that she always
Perfect bite. Yeah.
yeah, the perfect bite. So like food was very much a part of the culture of our family. We're Southern. It always was. You know, we'd gather around at my mom's every Sunday and eat great food. And it was always such a norm. And so I think for me, my journey was like a little bit of a combo of just a general lack of health education and a general lack of understanding of my own body and lack of curiosity, maybe even about it. But I also was incredibly athletic. Like so much of my childhood and adolescence did competitive cheerleading and all of that. So without understanding the science of it all, basically I was eating whatever I wanted because I was doing an insane amount of physical activity. And it just kind of always kept me not even like super, super tiny, but it always kept me at like a weight or a size that was never like, oh, that's alarming that she's that young and a little bit like bigger and maybe can't get a hold of what's going on. You know what I mean? Otherwise I would have, because when I got injured and couldn't do competition anymore my senior year of high school, nothing in my lifestyle changed. If anything, it got worse because I was depressed and didn't know what I was going to do with the next journey of my life, because that was what I was going to do in college and all the stuff. Um, the reality like smacked in the middle of my lifestyle not changing and the amount of calories I was burning drastically decreasing. And I remember my senior homecoming. I was homecoming queen.
Yes, you were.
But
You're beautiful and you still are.
thank you so much, Mom. But part of the homecoming, thank you, Beaver. Hello. Part of the like tradition of our homecoming was for the court at the football game, you had to wear like a pencil skirt suit or a pantsuit. And I went to Express with my friend Morgan, who again, a family of beanpoles, so she's just very tall and skinny. We went to Express because I was trying to find something, and I literally was like, I'm gonna scream, how is it that I can't put on a single thing in this giant store? You know what I mean? I was always just kind of in that weird like mid-size where I'd go to Forever 20 with my friends and they'd all, you know, be shopping and whatever, and I'd buy like a cardigan or like a scarf or some shoes or something like that. You know what I mean? And anyway, so that year, that homecoming, and then trying to find a homecoming dress and pictures that year of homecoming, I just felt so uncomfortable in my body. And that very much was the beginning of this like yo-yo of like white knuckling to stay as close to the size I was as I possibly could. And then like times of just like giving up and then going back to white knuckling. And it was very restrict, release, kind of my whole 20s. You know, got introduced to like Whole30 and like all that stuff and was like, ooh, maybe that'll be good. But if you're not careful, Whole30 is basically just like massively under eating in terms of calories, and it's not good if you're not focusing on the right things. You could just eat a bunch of like Whole30 approved snacks for a month, and then in a week after stopping doing it, you're gaining everything back that you lost because you were starving yourself. You weren't fueling yourself and giving your body the health and nutrition that it needed. Not to say that Whole30 is not great. You just have to do it right. You just have to do it the right way, which I did not. Anyway, so then, you know, got married and then divorced. And that was a time. And I remember the kind of like rush of all my weight gain happened around the time that all that was happening. Like I felt myself being like, ooh, I'm like the biggest I've ever been. And I don't love that around the time I got engaged. And then it just like slowly crept up. And then, you know, just through the anxiety and natural like frustration and depression of the divorce, right smack dab in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
All kind of happening at once with Dad getting sick and shit like that all was happening at that same time.
Yeah.
Like from the years 2019 to 2021, we were like cancer, divorce, pandemic, another cancer, crazy illness. Like it was just boom, 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 back to back.
Yep.
Trauma, like really heavy stuff. And anyway, so I was like, when I got divorced, moved out, got my other place and was like, all right, we're rebuilding. What are we doing now? I really, really wanted to take like huge control of my health because I had realized that it's like, this is out of control. I don't think this is something I have the tools or education to know what to do. And I just need some help. And I watched a lot of, 1,000 Pound Sisters and a lot of Chelsea in general. I love those girls. They're a hoot and a half, and I just love that show. And then there's my they're a hoot and a half. And then there's my 600. I don't know the title of it, but there's another one where they're not sisters. And one of the surgeons on that show is like the main one. Like when it all got started, is here in Georgia. And so I was like, I'm just going to look into this. I'm just going to get a consultation. I want to have the conversation because I got to figure out what's going on. And I was like 31 at the time. I'm 35 now. And I went in. They were lovely. It's called, the name has changed now. It's called Beltline Bariatric or Beltline Health. And they're absolutely wonderful. And so went, had a consultation, had a great conversation. Surgery terrifies me in general. The first being put under for a surgery experience was getting my wisdom teeth out a year ago. And I just don't love it. So I was like, if I can avoid a surgery, which also I had the experience of watching Kim do a weight loss surgery that did work and then had its complications. And you know what I mean? Like they don't do that that specific one anymore because of the fact of the aftermath of it is not easy for people to maintain. And anyway, so, talked a little bit about that in family history. And like I said, it was really great. And I walked away going, okay, I just want to go down the journey of this. Like my insurance covers up until basically the point of surgery. So, no loss if I just go after this and see the other options and see what's going on. And they make you go through a pretty cool process where you have to do like nutrition education. You have to meet with a nutritionist for a while, for like a good amount of time. And then you have to meet with a psychologist as well, who like approves you basically to say like, I understand the weight of what I'm possibly walking into and the lifestyle change it'll take. And, when you have a bariatric surgery, it's not just like, oops, I didn't get my vitamins today. Okay, I need to be on that tomorrow. It's like you could go into a serious situation because your body's in such a deficit if you're not on top of those things. So it comes with like a lot of like huge, huge responsibility, more so than you would think. And the nutritionist that I met with, nutritionist that I met with, I adored and got like along with very well, felt very understood, very heard by, and made a great plan with her. And it was like, again, white knuckling. It was very, very hard. But over the course of a handful of months, I myself lost like 30, 35 pounds. And I remember feeling so proud, but also so defeated because it was like, oh my God, the amount of work it took to get here was exponentially more than what like not normal, but you know what I mean? Like a different body or a different experience would have. And the nutritionist was able to point that out to me as well. She was like, everybody's different, of course. However, like it is interesting to me when you just look at the data, when you just look at it compared to kind of other bodies, other people, whatever, would you maybe consider kind of going down this path of looking into like medication for it? Because there's might be something that's just going on in your body. And I got approved for the surgery and all of that, but it was insanely expensive. And so I couldn't do it. And so I said, okay, let's just pause this for now. I want to keep going with this plan that I've got and let's just like see where that takes us. And then life, time, stress, whatever, all these things got in the way. All those 35 pounds came back and it just felt like I was in a hole I could never get out of. And then enter Kim's journey of opening that up into my life. And then in a kismet kind of fashion, an old friend of mine is actually a nurse practitioner at that same practice that I had visited. But this had after like once I got approved for the procedure before I started working with her, it was probably like a 6 months to a year timeline in between. And then met with her. Kim told me all the right questions to ask and how to go in and advocate and see what's going on. And I started on Wegovy for a minute and dealt with some really, really intense side effects. At first, kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, is this worth it? Like, I know that this will do.
I don't mean to laugh, but you called me.
Ooh, I was like, I was going to die.
Him, I don't think. And I go, why aren't you taking your supplements? You go, supplements? What did you tell me? I was like, Samantha, it is in a text to you that you did not read because you are my baby sister and you will do everything wrong before you take my advice.
Amazing.
She goes, tell me now. Give me the list. I'm ordering them on Amazon as we speak.
Yep, I did. And it was wonderful. The papaya enzymes. And then, just over the course of time, you learn the things that your body needs and that works well for you.
Do y'all
Um,
still
and
do those? A lot of
we
the
have
supplements
papaya
and stuff?
enzyme.
Papaya
Yeah.
enzymes, probiotics, fiber supplements. I do. I do
Definitely
softeners as
probiotics.
well.
Yeah.
Not sponsored, but
Not sponsored.
but those gruns, baby. Sponsor
Oh
me.
yeah, those Bruins gummies.
I
Yeah.
don't miss a day.
Yeah.
And when I do, it sucks.
We are open for sponsorships, Bruins.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah,
Just saying. Okay, we're fun. We can
I
make
can't
cheap
afford
videos.
them. They're expensive.
They are. They are.
Mhm.
But I have started to, I have to budget for them because it is a game changer in my body. And it's,
Wow.
obviously like eat balanced meals, eat your fiber. Like this is the
Yeah.
other part.
Nobody can eat the amount of fiber that you need in general. So it's
I
like
know.
I
you
do
gotta
those
supplement
things you
something.
told me, Kim. The woman's probiotic.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
those?
they're great.
I do
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
But,
afford
Sam has a gallbladder and we don't, so I feel like
I
it's
do. None of you do. Jesse doesn't.
Oh,
either.
yeah. Right.
Listen,
Yes,
genetics
there's
is a thing,
that
Sam.
one.
I wouldn't be counting those chickens.
That's
Count
right,
those
that's right,
35-year-old chickens before they.
You're right.
I will talk to you at 40. Okay.
But anyway, so I think like it started as a goal for weight loss for me, and then had a massive amount of additional improvements to my life and to my body. Primarily, I was having a massive amount of hormonal, like reproductive issues.
Yeah.
I didn't have a period for like 5 years, which was coupled with weight gain, but also just like a whole bunch of other things going on in my body. And when I started to like take a lot of control over this, and when that medication entered back in my life, like all of that just started to kind of like fall into place. It's not perfect. I got a whole host of other things going on when it comes to that, but it got my body back to a regular homeostasis of I'm supposed to be having a regular period and I was not. And that like backup of lack of hormonal like shedding and releasing was causing like a huge issue in my body too.
Sure. Yeah.
Like this was all kind of happening around the same time, but my gynecologist was like, we're at the spot where like if we can't figure out a way to get this lining to shed, like it starts going down the route of like uterine cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, I can't take birth control. It makes me lose my marbles. But I had just started doing this. And she was like, okay, well, we can kind of maybe go a different route because that's something you're doing as like the other half of the treatment that could help. And it did massively.
Yeah.
So yeah, what started as truly a weight loss goal, made me realize there was just so much else going on in my body that this has, you take the drugs are working at the end. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And the psychological component of it has been really big for me as well, because the exact same thing you talked about with the car, I had the exact same thing I experienced in the midst of my divorce when I was working for dad. I was on a really long commute in like a very depressing season of life. And so all I wanted every day was to go to Del Taco or whatever was in front of me, and
like Del Taco.
There are 700 drive-through options when you leave Marietta and drive back into Atlanta. And it was the longest commute, and I was depressed, and it was getting dark earlier. And it was just kind of like, yeah, it's there. And it was almost like it was a compulsion. I couldn't not do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was your reward for the day. This is what you're going to get to do. You're going to go have this yummy food, or my
comfort. Yeah,
it wasn't that you were hungry.
A good day or a consolation prize for a bad day. It was a reward regardless. And I remember I had maybe been on Wegovy for like a month, maybe a little less, and it just like hit me one day where I was like, oh, that voice is gone. It's just gone. The compulsion, the need, the feeling of I have to consume this because it's like a scarcity mentality of when will I get it again, or this fear of like, well, I don't want people to like watch me eat and judge me, so I might as well eat now and in private, but then go to the dinner that I was going to and eat because I don't want to seem weird that I'm not eating, and then I just ate so much, and it just was this whole thing. So the food noise and the psychological component of it all has been huge for me too.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah. And it's interesting because my primary doctor, who has me on this compound now, because I don't see Dr. Albert.
Mhm.
We said we'll check back in maybe every 6 months just to see, because he is the one who started with me. But my primary doctor made this comment, and she said, well, I just tell my patients that when you hear when you want to go off the drug and you feel like you're at your weight, you can stop. But then when you start hearing the food noise again, you should take it again. You should start taking it. I don't ever want to hear that food noise again in my life.
Never.
Yeah.
The anxiety that comes with it, the shame,
Yes.
and I know this is like, I'm sure said a bajillion times in this space.
Okay.
But the thing that kills me is without the psychological component of understanding how important it is to fuel your body for the purpose of getting healthy and strong, not starve your body for the purpose of being teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that there's absolutely an audience of people on these drugs that are solely living in this space of, I'm only doing this because I just want to lose weight and look the way I want to look, and not even understanding the health ramifications of all of that.
Agreed.
Because that, like, it's not like, oh, it takes my hunger away, so I just don't eat, and that's why I'm skinny. No, if you don't eat, you're going to vomit. You get so sick. Like
I like that I still want to
your
eat.
body.
I
Yes,
like that
exactly.
I'm at a place where
I don't
have
want
that
to not
control.
eat.
And
Yes.
I still want to eat, but I
want to
love it
enjoy food,
when
but I
I
want
eat,
to
and then
feel
I
good.
don't want to eat anymore.
Yeah.
I love that
I don't
cutoff.
wanna overeat. I don't want to feel like I have to go eat in the car ashamed, which was a norm of my life for a while.
Yeah.
So-
Ted and Amy, and they were all down in Florida one time, and they were going down to the condo in Florida after I had been down there. And there was this place that I used to love to go over there on Granada. I can't think of it. That breakfast place that we own. Right?
Betty's?
No, the
breakfast
Peach
place.
Valley.
Yes, Peach
Oh,
Valley.
with the
And
fritters.
remember the peach muffins? How good those were?
Fritters.
The
No.
peach muffins.
No, I like the
Were they
fritters. The
muffins
peach
or
muffins are-
biscuits?
No,
Something
the
with peach in
fritters,
them.
Mom. They were apple fritters, and you
Those
dipped them in
two.
yogurt.
Those two. Yeah, but over to Peach Valley. But what I remember is a muffin, like a delicious peach muffin.
I remember.
And
those
I
things.
just was like, I wasn't doing GLP or anything like that at the
Yeah.
time. And that was like I can't wait to get to Florida so I can go to this restaurant, eat this, eat that, do all that. And Pam and of course Aunt Pam is beautiful. Amy, all the Williamses are teeny beautiful.
Yeah.
They don't have weight issues.
Yeah.
Not that anybody could ever tell. But anyway, she was going down there behind me, and I said, oh, don't forget to go to Peach Valley and have a peach muffin. And if you have time, have the apple fritters, and don't forget they have naming all these things. And she was like, okay. And so they go down there, and I said, did you go? She goes, yeah, we did. She said, we didn't have time to go in and eat. We went back there, and we said, let's just go in and taste the peach muffin. And they went in, and they ordered a muffin, and they all took a bite, and they went, that's good. Okay, let's go. And they ran off. They had a bite of a muffin, and they're done. And I was like, how do you do that?
I know.
Truly.
I remember Pam telling me one time there was this gingerbread, and I was young, and she was trying to teach me. She goes, if you cut the gingerbread and you spread it out, and then you put the lemon sauce on top, which is something that our grandmother used to make, her mother, right? And she's like, then you feel like you have more. And I thought to myself, why won't you just eat two? It's just like, what are you talking about? Why don't we just eat two of them? Why wouldn't you want to eat two? Don't you want to survive the famine that's never going to come?
In high school, one time, okay, Dad sent me to the grocery store to get ground turkey. He didn't, I didn't, I was like 16. I knew nothing about like lean to fat percentage. I just saw purchase ground turkey. I go home and give Dad ground turkey. And I got one that was like 60% fat or something crazy like that. Like it was bad. And he was like, Samantha, like, why would you get this one? And I was like, I don't know. I've never bought, love you, Dad, but classic Dad.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me what he wanted and then got mad when I didn't read his mind and know what he was asking me to do. And, love you, Dad. And anyway, I was so upset and so stressed out. And I was like, well, okay, I don't know if I can return turkey. And he was like, well, go try. And I was like, okay. Miss Mary was with me the whole time, by the way.
Yeah.
I drive to go back to the Kroger to return the turkey. They will not let me, of course. And I was like, well, you know what? While I'm here, let's get some cinnamon rolls and we're going to like watch a movie and whatever. Yeah. So we got the like Pillsbury, like pop can cinnamon rolls and went home, made them, watched a movie. Mary ate like one or two. I ate like one or two. She left. I housed the whole thing. Yeah. And Dad was like, Samantha, did you eat that whole thing of cinnamon rolls? And I was like, Mary had some. And he was like, it truly was kind of like how did you do that?
How did you eat all this?
And I was like, I don't know. I was upset. And it was like this was the first time I realized when I'm sad or upset, it's like my brain and stomach can expand for a second. And then I eat it. And then I realized it never did expand. And now I'm going to go die and feel awful. And that is like my earliest memory of like, oh, that was like a binge cycle that I just witnessed happen. And I can like chart the whole journey from like stress, anxiety, performance, whatever, to feeling bad, feeling shameful. Now I'm just going to go, stuff myself, feel shameful.
And then I'm going to go diet. And then
Yeah, I'll diet tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll diet tomorrow. We'll start our diet on Monday. Yeah. Like, do you guys remember like when we would diet and like we would have like this weird ceremony, like meal or weekend before we would eat everything we wanted. Like we must eat all the things because soon we'll be on diet. We'll never have them again. Like, it's just like diet culture is just so toxic and it runs deep in everything.
When y'all were doing Atkins, I was like 11 and I remember being like, I should do that.
Maybe I should have one Atkins.
I did Ideal Protein with Dad.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I was like 19 years old and like waking up and like eating a shake for breakfast. And I was like, is this life? Is this what life is?
Is this what equals healthy? Is this what equals what you're supposed to do? I don't know. Like, I mean, the answer is no. But then I didn't. I don't think mom and dad knew either because they were doing the same thing.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Totally.
Like I have a lot of grace for them because I don't think they had it figured out. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like the doctors were helping us, right? They were just like, oh yeah, do that. Eat less, move more. That sounds good.
Sammy, do you remember when I used to drink smoothies?
Yeah.
Go, do you know what time it is?
Smoothie time. And then you get your straw and you go,
Yes.
Yeah. You had a smoothie emporium. You could have had a business.
I know.
Well, I was on quick weight
like,
loss.
what else we put in our smoothie today?
That was my satisfaction is to have a smoothie because you couldn't have much of anything.
No.
But the quick weight loss thing, you could use their powder garbage and put in there. Well, I don't even know what was in there.
Well, I don't either.
The greatest dessert of the 90s, the rice cake with chocolate.
Yeah. And so I would put a whole banana and that thing and go to town and have a smoothie this big. And then I wouldn't be hungry.
Not to derail too much, I do think that that's also an ADHD thing of like ease of choosing what to eat. I can just put all this good stuff in a blender and drink it, and now I don't think too hard. I think that's also like an ADHD thing.
Yeah, like how do I just stop? I'm too busy to think about it. Like, it's the same reason we all love like casseroles, bowls, smoothies, like things where it's like one pot meals, crock pot. Like I don't want to think about it. Throw it in there. I know it's all good, and I can just like eat a little bit of it. Yeah, for sure.
You know what's fun though for me too is back in the day, and I'd see these things where people are even on TikTok now and the feeds where they're making food, and they go, first you take 2 envelopes of mushroom soup, then you open a can of cream of mushroom soup and you put it in. Then you use 2 cubes of cream cheese. Oh, and don't forget the sour cream. And I'm watching it now and I'm doing that. And I'm going, oh my God. No wonder people are fat.
I know.
Listen, it's watching it all get thrown into a pot that's kind of like that. But if you were offered a bowl of that, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll have a bowl of it. But again, it would just be, let me have a few bites of it.
If I was offered a bowl of it, I literally would take 2 bites and went, oh yeah, it's great.
It sounds great. And then you'd be like, hey, Pam with a peach muffin. You're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's when you didn't buy 5 and eat 4 of them in the car.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I for sure, like before the medicine though, like I remember I was telling the story. I was on a podcast recently and I was telling her kind of the story about how I used to, I would say this, like, I have met people on this show, that have said, I hated myself. I never hated myself because my mom wouldn't let me hate myself ever. Like I would say I'm this, and that and self-talk that way. And she would go, no, you are beautiful. You are smart. Like she would not allow it. It did not. And this is the size of you. This is what's going on right now. This is not forever. You are gorgeous. She would not allow for it. But there were times where I would hate this about myself. And these are 2 different things. Right. And I'm trying to teach Warren that now as he's building his sort of sense of self, because I think that helped me a lot to be resilient with this frankly awful disease. Right. And I think I want other people to find that and learn that you don't hate yourselves. You hate this about yourself. And ultimately, this is a disease and it is not your fault. And when you're on these medicines and you kind of have these moments of realization where you're like, this is what it's supposed to be like, you can't help but wonder when we're talking about food and recipes and all these things, what is it in this food that is exacerbating this issue, right? I hope I'm using the right word, that we clearly all have, right? What is it that leads us to this level of insulin resistance, right? What is it that eventually leads us to where, because like a lot of people don't realize that extra adipose tissue, right, within your body, especially around your stomach, that's an organ. It's an organ. It excretes literally a hormone, several hormones, and it affects your entire body. And that is the obesity. Like that's the actual thing. And you can try to shrink that as much as you want, but fat has memory. And I feel like if people can kind of understand that that's what it is, we're talking about organs in your body. Like they are talking to your brain and your brain is talking to them, and you don't have anything to do with it. And so that white knuckling, Sam, that you're talking about, right? That's your brain trying to fight back to get you at a weight where, from metabolically perspective, you're going to survive, right? The famine that's never going to come, And I think that a lot of people just don't understand it. And that's like what I really try to talk about, because it's very complicated and definitely too complicated for a 3-minute TikTok and people's attention span these days. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. The psychological component of it is like, and none of this exists in a vacuum. It's all compounded upon each other. The psychological component mixed with diet culture and society in general. And for some reason, society loves to just like hate women and never let them be happy. You know what I mean? Like it's this crazy thing. And since being on this medication, I can't say I never have a bad body day or a body dysmorphia or on a Monday, I put on a dress that I love. And on Wednesday, I'm like, I hate this. Like it's life and I'm a woman, whatever. But I've gone from like every single racing, chaotic thought of every day being about my body or how I'm looking or how I'm being perceived, or if I sit this way, or if I wear this thing, or if I can't eat, I want to eat this. I'm hungry. I want a burger. I want protein, but I'm with all these people and I should eat a salad so they don't judge me. Like the peace and the level of just like true harmony that it gave back to me, that's not my inner dialogue 99% of the time now. Maybe it's like 5% of the time, is like truly worth any side effect, is worth anything I've experienced, like negative in the journey of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that start on the medicine and they don't have proper guidance from a clinician or the Plus Size Podcast. And when they do, they get through those like weird places of where you need to adjust, right? Whether it's supplements or what you're eating or what you're drinking or how you're sleeping, or if you're eating before the medicine or when you take or what time you go to bed or whatever it is, they don't have anybody necessarily to guide them through that. And so they just quit.
Yeah.
Right. And so they don't get the chance to realize, like, I think a lot of these different things. I got to tell you though, sometimes I talk about this, guys, family, just like quick moment. I feel like I'm a drug pusher. Like I'm on here. These people don't even pay me. I'm over here being like, hallelujah, GLP-1 therapy.
Well,
let
me
like
listen,
pusher.
Maybe, but you're not like a lobbyist for a specific company. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but I do lobby for all of them.
Right.
Kinda. I mean, like kinda, like with the Obesity Action Coalition,
the drugs and the drugs are working. Do you know what I mean? Like that is the core of it. It's like in the same way that, like I feel like mental health has had such like a really good exposed maybe movement, if you want to call it that, over the last like decade, where people are just like being so much more open about like, I take SSRIs or I take these, which is very helpful and very needed, because it's the idea of normal, where we're all like very much so starting to understand neurodivergency and is that a right word?
Yes, it is.
Neurodivergency.
Yes.
We're starting to understand that in a mass way.
Yeah.
So like, is someone a drug pusher if they're like, hey, if you're depressed and need medication, that's okay? No, they're a health advocate.
But in all fairness, I do also like have a whole show about it. Like, but sometimes but I'm trying to focus more on like what's it been like for you guys seeing me do this? Like, were you thinking that I was a drug pusher?
No.
When you were like, she has a podcast about it, she's live and
No.
What were you thinking?
No, because we saw the results.
Yeah.
We saw what you did, Kimmy. That was amazing. And we were like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're doing amazing stuff here.
But even
And
before that, we
yeah,
saw the journey prior, right? We saw the, like,
sure,
you didn't get
absolutely.
pregnant, you did the surgery, you were able to get
Yes.
pregnant. Like, we watched that whole
We
journey.
watched your life.
And
Yeah.
the misconception, in the same way that people look at a neurotypical brain person would look at a neurodivergent brain person and say, like, I don't understand why you can't just like set an alarm and remind yourself to do that, because it's a different brain. So
Yeah.
someone would look at, I just don't understand why you can't just like move your body and eat less, like,
Right.
because it's a different body, you know?
Right.
And there's just so much shame attached to people with larger bodies that it always equals laziness, lack of education, whatever. And it's just not true. Those things are not like equal.
Not everybody.
Someone asked me on this podcast lately, she said recently, she said, is there a world, she said, where people can get off of this medicine and that they've learned the things they need to learn, right? And then they're okay. And I said, well, one, I'm not a doctor. I just interview them on the internet, you know? And I said, but what I think we can all agree to is that I think the food noise is a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately some people may have it. Like if you think about it, like when you're pregnant, like I know you don't know yet, but like when you're pregnant, those cravings that you have, they're so intense, right? It's way different than just like a craving you have when you're on your period. Like you feel the level of intensity when your body is different and is shifted. And I feel like what I was trying to explain to her is the level of craving when you're pregnant. I had that all the time. And then mental instability because I was always worried about that all the time. So when I started to solve for that, and I do think a lot of that anxiety has to do with blood sugar and getting that controlled, but I was trying to sort of explain it to her that ultimately there may be people that it's like, that's the new trend, guys, right now is the whole micro dosing trend, which is people that are in thinner bodies or may just struggle with 10 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever. And that they just get a lot of benefit from these meds, from taking them for all of these different health reasons that we're suggesting. And maybe they have food noise, but they were able to white knuckle better than you and I were. Or maybe their weight gain was like 5 or 10 pounds, but like ours is 80, right? Like it just sort of like, it just seems like this like spectrum, but clearly we've identified that so millions and millions of people, whether they are in obese bodies or just bodies that are struggling with overweight, right, have seen massive health benefits from this, but there has to be a reason why. And I do think that there is some nasty, dirty shit in our food. Like I'm sorry, Mom, don't tell Daddy I cussed. But there is like there has to be like. I think because there's got to be a reason. I always say when I say a bad word on accident because I get passionate, I go, sorry, Dad. And now people have drinking games with it.
You say sorry, Dad.
Yeah, it's funny. but yeah, but
I think it's like the most open secret in the world is that our food sucks. You know what I mean? Like really, like but it's just.
But what's difficult is like, so recently because I do this, I get to meet with thought leaders and people in the space about like, how do we adjust to this? Right. Yeah. And I got to meet with people from Campbell's, Tyson, Coke, Pepsi, and all these different like food companies, right, recently. And basically he was kind of like, one of them, Campbell's guy was like, what if we like put a bunch of protein in your soup? Would you eat it? And I was like, well, if you didn't have a lot of gluten in it, I probably would. Like, that's kind of my thing. I go, but ultimately you have to understand what you guys are doing is just stuffing protein into food. But a lot of us understand that food probably led us here. Like it played a role, right? Like in the types of food and our metabolic disorder. So it's hard to trust you, right? Yeah. So if we don't trust our doctors and we don't trust, our food, who the hell can we trust? And the answer is each other. And that's why these communities are existing. Right. And like, I got to go to Obesity Week this week. And there was these doctors up there talking about kind of trying to change and better the system. And I went up there and I said, are you considering trying to work on patient trust? I said, because ultimately, even though you guys are prescribing this, me on the internet, I'm the one getting the questions. I was like, and even though they know you are the prescriber, even though they know you know more than I do about this, they're not asking you, they're asking me.
Because they know that they have a purse string attached to what they're asking, even if they also have a good nature. You know,
right?
What I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think too, people also very much want to be able to feel like people empathize with them. And ultimately the system and the trust between our clinicians who have honestly blame most of us with obesity forever, that we were obviously lying. We were not dieting exercise, or we couldn't do it, or we were weak, or we were fat and lazy, or whatever, right? Plus the food just continuing to give us more crap. And like literally there are food scientists that try to make more foods hyper palatable. And we know it. Like that all of this knowledge is out there now. And we see these two things together when clearly they're clashing and causing this metabolic decline and at different levels and at different increments than other people, like mom in a 150 body, right? Me in a 250 body, like other people in a 660 body. Like it's clearly, I mean, even people that are like 120 pounds that want to be 110 or whatever, like depending on how tall they are and stuff, clearly like there is something going on and that food is not doing well by us, and it is affecting the food companies and the food bottom line. But what's crazy about it though is that we've just opened up a lot of access, right, with this news, right? With Medicare covering this and then opening up those prices for Medicaid to then cover it. This opens up access to millions and millions of people that could not afford these medicines before, and now they can. So my concern is they don't trust their doctor. They don't trust food. There's nothing really in the middle in terms of community other than like me and other people who do these kinds of shows, right? And have these kinds of platforms. What are people going to do? Right. And so my concern is they're going to know what to eat or how to move or what, all these different pieces that I feel like we've kind of figured out together. And I don't think the doctors have it all figured out either. Like the obesity specialist, yes, right? The endocrinologist, yes. But there aren't even enough doctors literally in our country, period, to be able to treat the amount of people that have obesity. Like there's not, and so it's great that we have this access open, but I'm very concerned about this gap and this gap in trust between food and between doctor. And I don't know how to solve for it other than to continue this podcast.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think
and my social and everybody and like my community, not just me, to be clear, I do not think that I am solving any of like I am an advocate with many other people who are just as passionate and work just as hard as I do. Like it's not, I'm not trying, but I am a leader in this movement. Right. And because I care deeply about you, every one of you that are listening, I care deeply for you and want you to be able to live the healthiest, life that you can. I think that you deserve that and are worthy of that. And I think everyone that you love, right, that struggles like we do, are worthy of it as well. And then I do think that there's a certain piece of us that we do need to demand what equals quality care, right? It needs to not just be, let me write this medicine and you're off on your way. Like we deserve a certain amount of community support and, checking in with us. And if you guys don't have if these clinicians don't have the staff or the capability to be able to do that, then we've got to have something in the middle that does, right? I don't know what that is and how I can help solve for that, but I do want to.
Well, I think you're doing it. I mean, our country is in a massive state of like a scary level of normalization for the sake of survival, trudging forward every day, just being okay with some of the horrific things that are happening around us. And this is no different because this is not, like I said, this doesn't exist in a vacuum. This topic of health and obesity in America is wrapped up in every awful systematic thing that is happening as well. Because this stigma of larger bodies is also, the Venn diagram is a circle of the stigma in poor communities as well. And like people trying to demonize those communities for like stealing benefits from SNAP, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, no, they're people that need food. And you know what I'm saying? Like it all exists together. And so the very first step in someone having a change in understanding or perspective comes from someone delivering a message they've never heard before. And that's exactly what you're doing. And so I know it can feel maybe monotonous or feel like, am I a drug pusher or am I like doubting this? No. Like, am I just the Quiznos guy with the sign on the street? Like just waving the sign around as people drive by and hoping somebody goes in to buy a sandwich. The reality is like Mom and I, right in front of you are two examples of these are solutions and tools that we never knew existed before you. Like, or if they existed or if they were out there, they existed in media as something that looked unattainable and like something we maybe never would have even known to ask about or had the, like it took, I felt so much like embarrassment and shame telling you guys, I'm going to talk to a specialist about maybe having a surgery, like not because I felt you would judge me, but because I know the weight that carries of an immediate like judgment from the world of like, oh, well, you got to take the easy way out because you couldn't do it. Massive surgery is not easy. taking a medication that drastically changes your life with side effects is not easy. It's not the easy way out. It is a medication that solves for something just like any other medication does.
I agree. Back in the day when
yeah.
people had high blood pressure and people had arthritis and stuff like that. Oh, but we have a pill for you now. You can take this drug and it's going to help you and make you feel better. We didn't have it 30 years ago, but we have it now, and you can take this and it'll be okay for you to take it and all that. Cholesterol medicine, that's another one. That stuff hadn't been around forever. But when they recognized the fact that everybody was having issues with cholesterol and it was going up, all of a sudden there's so many different cholesterol medicines, and they want to put you on these medicines because it'll control your cholesterol. You know, so there's drugs for things that people have problems with. And I believe that obesity and overeating and the mental and all the stuff that goes with it and where you put those signals is an illness. It's not normal. There are people who live normal that don't have that.
Yeah.
And I've witnessed it over and over and over. Now, let me say, in my life growing up, I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I didn't have it until I had a child, a divorce, another redo, another child, another child at 35. And that's when the weight for me was too hard to deal with. And yes, I could play the game and do the diets and all that, but I shouldn't have to. Why can't I be normal enough to say, no, I'm not hungry. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Or why do I have to look at something and go, oh yeah, I want that. No, give me a big piece. You know, because I need that right now. I need that comfort. Why couldn't I get comfort in other places like most people do?
Yeah.
People go through their whole life never having to struggle with weight at all.
Yeah.
And so I know there's something. I know that there
is. I mean, there is.
I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah.
Without having to pay the money and go to the diet places, which was a multi-billion-dollar business.
Oh, it still is.
Yeah.
Some of those people are doubling down. I'm telling you, like,
yeah. And I think too, on the fear of being the drug teacher, Kim, is there will always be someone to benefit financially from the sale of a drug. Even if the intent and goal of that is altruistic, that will always exist, unfortunately. Well, I would love to know a world where it doesn't, but in our current reality, that exists. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So what you do, I think, is so special. And she didn't ask us to say this. This is my genuine opinion. What I think you do that's so special is you bring a very holistic approach to the understanding of it, where you're not just saying, hey, every time you sign up for this thing, I get paid. You're like, no, this is, I'm telling you real stories, bringing you differing opinions, bringing you different parts of it, and saying it's not just about, boom, take this drug, go live your life. It is also a massive psychological shift that you have to undo and relearn so much. And the fact that you not only address, but encourage and champion that reality, I think is what makes this really special. Is it's not just education, it's actually support. It's actually, hey, maybe this can change your mind. It's actually, you know what I mean? I think it's really special and really important what you're doing. And
I try to bring different perspectives, because I think that, my own perspective, you've seen the people, the variety of people we have on the show, the backgrounds and all the different things, I think obesity kind of comes for everyone. It doesn't seem to care where you come from or anything like that. I think that in the beginning, it was hard because I think people saw me as one of the weight loss, influencers. What did you guys think? When you saw me on TikTok lives talking about weight loss shots, and that's what the narrative was, what were y'all thinking? Oh, you went dark on me. What were y'all thinking?
Hold on.
3 years ago. What were
I love that. Sorry.
You're what is she doing?
No, to be honest with you, it just kind of felt yeah, of course it's what she's doing, because you are the kind of person.
I never thought that it was odd, or I was proud of you. And I said, this is amazing. I can just turn on my phone and there's Kimmy.
You're the kind of person that
there's Kimmy.
You're very newsies of and the world will know. I've learned this thing. And
yes.
It's changed. Yeah. You are not a person who can keep a secret. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, if I've discovered this awesome thing, why would I not share it? Why would I not educate people as well, because
Well,
it was
honey,
a
you're
life-changing thing for
passionate
you.
about it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see the passion. My
Yeah.
gosh, look what you did. How much weight did you lose? 100 pounds?
110 pounds.
I mean,
Yeah.
the pictures are out there. You can see your before and afters, and this is
Yeah.
no Photoshop. This
No.
is real, and you lived through it, and you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
You know, just like when I get crazy about my gardening, and I'm so passionate about it, I planted a flower.
Yeah.
It grew,
Yeah.
and it's living still, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is your passion.
Yeah.
So I knew that from the beginning when you started it. She's
Yeah.
doing this because she has to.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely
Yeah.
have felt like it has definitely been a drive. Like I talk about a lot, like when the food noise turned off for me, guys, like I remember when it happened. Like I
Yeah.
was downstairs, I was in the kitchen and it got real quiet and I thought it was going to rain. And I remember it never did rain and it got so quiet I thought I was having a stroke. And I was like, what did I just do? What have I done to myself? Taken a diabetication to lose weight, this, talking poorly to myself. And then I realized I could hear myself think. And then I was like, oh my God. Like, what if this was it my whole life? Right. And then I was like, I remember in that moment being like, are we going to squander this or are we going to do everything we can?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do everything I can. Everything I can.
Mhm.
And so I have definitely felt like this is, a passion and a calling in a way, not for any of, not because I think that I'm anything special, but just because I understand this in a way that I don't know if everybody else does. And I've been able to kind of piece together things that not necessarily everyone else could, or at least not in the way that I do. And I just want to be able to, I really just want to be able to help people not suffer needlessly. That's really
Right.
what it comes down to.
Well, this
I want them to
Medicare thing
understand.
is big.
The Medicare
And
thing is very
if
big.
it gets
Yeah.
where people that are on Medicare, and
Mhm.
I guess Medicaid too, I don't know, but they can get this drug for $50 a month, which actually most of them probably don't even have $50.
I know.
But that's something that they can get. People
Yeah.
would put that money in and give it to them to help
Yeah.
them. People who are sitting around 300 pounds and can't get out of a chair,
Yeah.
whatever. Even people, who just want to lose 50 pounds to be
Yeah.
healthier and be able to move and all that, get their blood pressure medicine down, get their hearts in better shape, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
That they can get to a place that Medicare now, like you said, sets the standards for
That's
the
the
other
standard.
insurance companies who screw us all. But
Yes.
now, if Medicare starts it, the insurance company's like, oh, yeah, we can get on board with this. We can get on board with that.
Yep.
And to be able, I'm so thrilled for people who could be in a place to get that help too.
Me
Just
too.
like you said, to
Yeah.
help people.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love to see that. I would love to see that. I feel so fortunate that I had you to show me, because if I didn't have you, Kimmy, I probably would not be on this wagon
Yeah.
until maybe in the last few months when my
Mhm.
doctor looked at me and said, you weigh 200 pounds. Would
Yeah.
you like to try a GLP-1?
Yeah.
Because I can get it for you now
Yeah.
in a compound.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's where I could be if it weren't for that.
Totally.
Yeah,
And I
so-
the job and healthcare stuff, I've had change and be in such a shift lately.
Yeah.
Truly, it would feel too overwhelming, too defeating, and I would not know where to turn or what to do if I did not have the you and or the relationship that I have with my nurse practitioner to be able to text her. It's not easy to have that kind of access, and you've given us that privilege.
Yes.
And it's really,
Yes.
really,
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I'm like, it's hard sometimes when you do this. Like, I will tell you, it's me. Like, so I'm like, oh God, I'm like the poster child for this now. So it's like, what if I got my freaking whole family on this? And like, please, please don't
I
have
just hope
these
it
crazy
continues
growth
to
third head
get
thing
better.
happen after I've got you guys all on this drugs. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe, right? There is sure a possibility, but like you said, it's not. I think the massive misconception was all of a sudden these came out of nowhere and people are trusting. I'm like, no, there's decades of data that this is good and works and is healthy, and there's not, you know what I mean? And It's totally fair. And
I would definitely say like there are many more studies being done on maintenance and what that looks like. And like they just had one of obesity where they were like, maybe you take this dose and you go 2 weeks and then you take another dose. Like they're trying to kind of figure out what that looks like for people. Right.
Yes.
Or is it low dose every week or is it low dose every 10 days? Like I think everybody's still trying to kind of figure out what that looks like. I also think that there may be opportunities where people come off of it and then they go back on it and maybe that's okay. Right.
Yeah.
Or people switch to the other ones that are coming out. And I think there's so many drugs that are in this class that are in the pipe that we have coming. And it's going to be insane, like over the next many years. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a matter of like, we don't know. Those are new. Like that's what we have to do thing like GLP-1s, right? While we've got decades of data on them, the idea of the double agonist, which is the tirzepatide, which we are on, right? And the idea of the triple agonist, which is called retatrutide and coming out next year, that is new, right? There's still data. You still have to do long-term studies and short-term studies, but we are going to see things like there are going to be things that pop up where it's going to be like, actually, we do think this makes hair loss. Actually, we do think there may be some mental health issues with this. And so everybody needs to understand that when you start on a drug at all, there is give and take and there's risk. And I think it's important for you, and you guys know I talk about on the show, for you to understand all of that. But ultimately, when we look at obesity, right? And we look at where it leads to type 2 diabetes, where it leads to heart disease, where it leads to kidney failure, where it leads to Alzheimer's, all these different things. The risk of that and just letting it go when we know that diet and exercise are not working. They are not. They do not treat it. They may help prevent it, but they do not treat it. We know it. The data is there. You have to decide risk versus reward, right? And I think I don't want anybody to ever think this is popping like candy because ultimately there are risks associated, you know, and there is a certain way of living a part of it, right? And I think that it's important for people to understand that. And I don't necessarily think there's a ton of messaging other than all the lists, like when you hear a drug commercial of side effects they have to list and nobody ain't listening anymore. They're thinking, I listen all that time. Like it's just, you know, because they're not even listening. And I think it's about really understanding that this is the thing to change your health and your life, like for the better. And I am very concerned that we're going to have millions and millions of people getting on these medicines with this new access opening up that aren't going to know. And the doctors will tell you, I've met them in person, like on the show. I've met them at Obesity Week. I've met them at Your Weight Matters conference. I've met them in DC. They cannot handle what's about to happen. So I'm wondering, like, is there a way, and I would love to know from our listeners, for plus sides to partner with doctors to create like community education, right? Is there a way for us to have events where we all come together, especially with Medicare, they're 65 and older, right? Like they're 65 and older.
That's
like our mom is very trendy and on the socials, but they're like, what? So are they going to come where they can talk? Like, do we create some sort of virtual something where they can come and ask questions, where it's backed by science, it's approved by doctors, something, because the capacity to support them is not there. The infrastructure does not exist, guys. And so I'm concerned about that. And I don't know how plus sides can help solve for that, but I would love to know, our audience, if you have any ideas of things that we can do. We are considered a very reputable source. You know, we're ranked in the top 1.5% of all podcasts in the world, and it's all about this subject. And we've won 4 awards, you know, hopefully 5. We're waiting for our 5th one. But, you know, like we are considered very reputable. And the reason that is important to me is because I want people to know that they can go somewhere other than their doctor. It's not going to judge them. It's going to give them ideas and a way to be able to, they can take that information to their doctor and have those discussions, or their clinician or their nurse practitioner or whatever it is, you know? Yeah. Like I want people to feel empowered to have the discussion, but I know that a lot of times they don't know what to do or what to ask or what to say, or a lot of times they don't have the confidence to even do that because they are ignorant in this way. And ignorant just means not informed, right?
Right.
And so they need that language and that understanding. And so I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that plus sites can fill that gap? Right. And I don't know. But I would love ideas.
Yeah.
As you guys
I love it like a digital office hours or like a town hall or like something like that. I mean, I think you experienced so much of that too in like your early days of going live, right? It was very much like an FAQ list.
Oh my gosh, right. It still is. That is what is so crazy is 3.5 years later, when I go live, people are still saying things to me like I am throwing up and I don't want to tell my doctor because I think they'll take me off of it. right? That's
Wow.
literally when I was trying to decide what to title my book, I said, it's
Wow.
our last shot. That's why I'm calling it that. Because that's what people think. This is my last shot. It's the last thing I've got. I've tried the surgery. I've tried the pills. I've tried the diet. It's my last shot. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that like that embodies what this community feels like.
Wow.
Right. It was their last resort, their last option that just wasn't working more. And they hated whatever. Right. And I mean, I've literally had people say to me when they thought they were going to lose access that they'd rather die. They'd rather die because of how miserable and sick they were before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, but I think this is going to be a massive boom. And I'm only one person. So I'm hoping we can have, there are so many amazing advocates recently that have stepped outside of the platforms, right? And gone in person to do these things that I've met with that want to change policy, and we're doing it. You know, I mean, like the Obesity Action Coalition that we work with, they've been fighting for TROA, which is the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act, for 10 years. And it's only been now, since basically TikTok, that we've exploded things to put on that pressure, right, to make this change. And I think that we can't take our foot off the gas because we do need to codify it, you know? But I'm really concerned about how we're going to solve for this. Because I mean, I hope they can find us, you know? I hope they find us, because I do feel like our seniors definitely like podcast, you know? And not YouTube, but I do think like listening to podcasts is a thing.
I like listening to podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, Dee Dee's been on our show and she's mom's age. And she was like, I found you on YouTube. Like I was just searching and I binge watched all the episodes to figure out what I wanted to do. And I'm like, well, that's great. So maybe I need to create content that's like that. Like if you're on Medicaid or Medicare, you've been wanting to try these medications, here are the things you needed to know. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Able to prepare for what I think is going to happen.
Well, I'm curious how many specifications there are going to be as to whether or not you qualify to get
I'm sure. I am sure that there'll be the PA process we have now. Like they're not changing the system. But from what I'm told so far, and this is all still very like earthquake, we're still trying to figure it out. It sounds like 27 is the BMI. That's the requirement if you have something heart related, and 35 is the requirement if you have something that's not. But most people, if you've got a BMI of 35 and you're 65 years old, you're going to have the other things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm less concerned about that 35 number, because I know that people that are 65 years old have stuff. Like you're 65, you know, at least, right? And so if you have obesity, like that's what we're talking about, right? Like we're talking about people with obesity, you know. So I think that there is a tremendous amount of people that struggle with that will be in that number. But then it's about, how are they going to handle PAs? What are the loopholes they're going to try to do to get you to get off of it, right? What kind of, this is another thing too that insurance companies are doing, is they're putting you on diets and they want you to track. There are some insurance companies that make you
to like prove it
of your food. Yes. Make you prove that you ate what you were supposed to. Give me a break. There are wearable companies that are trying to say they can track like what you've eaten now and be able to send that information back. I don't like that. Like, I think that's just digital diet culture. That's awful.
It is exactly what it is. It is systematic government run diet culture.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge problem. And I will be fighting for that not to happen, because people deserve to live rich, full lives. They deserve to have everything in moderation if they can so handle that. And we shouldn't be, we've got to quit, I think, too, giving the power to insurance companies to be able to act as doctors. They're not.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You don't need to be signing. If the doctor says this is what they do, the doctor is responsible for managing that person and making sure that they lose weight and they're not losing muscle and all these different things. Ultimately, like, there are always going to be people that abuse systems. There's always going to be people that abuse medications. There's always going to be, but those are usually the outliers of all of these things. That's why these systems exist, right? So I think that it's important for us to focus on the fact that, like, we are trying to get people to a certain place of health. We're not trying to put them on a diet to get them to a small size, right? We are trying to heal them, you know? Right. But I am hearing narratives, like even from Dr. Oz, people get to a place where they can lose weight and then they can, you know, we have no data on that. We have no data on that it is ever successful to remove people from this medication to where they do not regain within 3 years. We have no data to support that. Like, they need to be on some sort of level of something.
There needs to be a secondary step.
Yes, it is a chronic disease. There needs to be protocol for that, and that doesn't exist yet. So those are all things that need to happen, and this boom of access is about to happen. It's amazing. But because the infrastructure is not in place to support it,
Right.
I am concerned, and so I don't know what I can do other than just go and run my mouth about it because you guys, and that's over.
Honey, you just keep
You know?
doing what
Yeah.
you're doing. You're
Yeah.
going to keep hearing stuff because you're in that circle where all the stuff is around you and you're hearing it.
Yeah.
And you take it and you filter it and you put out there what you hear that you
Yeah.
know. I mean, like you said, people come to you to go, okay, what's going on now? Is
Yeah.
there another drug after the drug that I've lost the weight, but now I want to stay on the drug
Yeah.
because I don't want to hear the noise. I don't want to
No.
go back. I
No.
don't want to gain the weight back.
Because it's
I don't want
torture,
to,
right?
wanna
Like,
go
it's not even
off.
just the
Yeah.
weight, it's the torture of the noise. It's the
Yes.
torture of not being in
Yes.
control of your actions. Like,
Absolutely.
many people
Yeah.
out there really still have a hard time with this accountability piece with people with weight. Like, it must be your fault. Like people even, I think, look at me now and I'm not in a small body, right? But you guys
Yeah,
know I
they
train a lot.
gotta
And
not
you guys
worry
know I
about that.
exercise every day, but I'm not
Yeah.
skinny,
Yeah.
like, and that's because people are meant to be different sizes. Like,
Yes.
that is genetics.
There is
Like,
not one standard of a body.
No.
Yeah.
no.
No.
And I think
Yeah,
we
which
have
is why I
to.
have a hard time with the whole BMI thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
BMI thing is straight
Yeah,
trash for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
And,
but that's
and that's what they're using to govern whether
Yep.
you're
to govern.
can get it or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that they are moving forward with this thing called the body roundness index, which is a very stupid term. But the reason they're calling it that is where they're measuring kind of the circumference, because remember how I was telling you about how this adipose tissue is an organ? It is like, so, and a lot of the doctors that have told us that the reason that men die sooner, right, is because the place that they usually carry their weight is just in their stomach. Right. It's the adipose right around the organs, pulling on the heart, making the heart work harder, and so like, that's why a lot of people, like men with obesity, they're not living into their 70s and 80s and 90s. They're not, so that's just like, there's so much more to this. And I just feel like at first I thought to myself, maybe I'm done, right? Like maybe I did it. Right. After 3.5 years and advocating and creating this podcast and creating this community, maybe I can walk away now and just go, I did something really good one time. But now that this access is open up, and I'm very concerned that what will fill that gap. And I don't mean if I'm not here, but if plus size isn't here, right? If plus size isn't here, what will fill that gap for those people that are coming on, And so I don't know how to solve for that, but I think that might be the next phase.
Yeah, I think you've only just begun, right? I think that like maybe I'm done feeling is the closing of this chapter or iteration of what it's looked like, and now evolving into what it needs to look like next.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that like feeling of, okay, is it done? Maybe yes, but not all of it. Maybe just okay, that portion of it. We tie it up, we move on to the next one. We evolve and adapt to fit the way that the movement and that the community of it is doing,
Yeah.
I think it will come to a place, and I probably won't be here, but I think it'll come to a place where people will be taking a pill every day just to keep them in this state.
Same. Yeah.
I
hope so.
And I hope
there are
that
genetic
and I
things
get
going
to
on
do
right
that.
now
But
where
I
they
think
literally
that-
clip it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I think that it's gonna continue to move forward. It's going to be recognized. There's going to be ability for people to get what they need to take care of that in their lives. And I think you will take a pill every day, just like I take a blood pressure pill, and it'll be reasonable, and it'll be paid for with my insurance, and it'll keep me in a place where I can stay like this.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I think and you know what? I don't think it's that far away. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's out there because they're not ready to put it out there.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean,
think.
for sure, the ones that are in the pipe right now, like they have something called CagriSema that's about to come out. And that is semaglutide, which is, Wegovy Ozempic, right? Mixed with something called cagrilinotide, which is supposed to be amazing with food noise control. And that's coming out. So then people who feel like they maybe have gotten to where it's not working anymore, or maybe they need to be off and be on something else, like how we switched from Ozempic to Mounjaro, right? Like it's the same kind of idea. So that's coming out. That's a double agonist. And then the one that's coming out the next year is a triple agonist, right? And that one, people are just like melting. It's crazy. That's why I'm saying it's way more than calorie restriction. Like it's really how their body is working, right?
Mhm.
And I think there's just a lot more to understand. Like I met this doctor. We can wrap up. I know we're getting to the end, but I met this doctor who has studied obesity for 45 years. And he was like, there's not one obesity. He goes, obesity is a disease. And he goes, but there's many obesities. He goes, so I think where we will get right, is that we figure out what kind of obesity you have, and we give you
Ah,
the medicine that matches with that kind of obesity, right? And
ah,
because there's many and many different kinds. And he was like,
interesting.
so I think that like we hopefully will get to that. I mean, how great would it be to go to your doctor and have them make you a compound of whatever peptide you need based on whatever
Oh,
obesity you
yeah.
have, right? Like I
Wow.
see it being more like that because right now, kind of the way we're solving for it, with there not being that many available, is adding like Wellbutrin and these combined therapies to things,
Right.
right? But if we're able to solve it with just the GLP family, right, then I think a lot of us will love that because we've seen such good, change with that,
Yeah.
But the future,
Wow.
I feel like looks bright. It's just I am
Yeah.
concerned about the influx we're about to get.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm really
Be
curious to
ready
see
to catch
how
it.
it's all going to play
Yeah.
out too.
Yeah.
Because
It'll be
like I said,
interesting.
I want to see what kind of specifications are going to be put onto it,
Mhm.
especially if you're older. Because early on, when I was going on these drugs, they were saying, "Oh, if you're over 65, people have a hard time because it messes
Yeah.
with their joints." Well, my joints are already messed up,
Yeah.
so it's not going to hurt me much more, I don't think. And it
Yeah, yeah,
hasn't. It
yeah,
hasn't. It has
yeah.
helped. It has helped. Any weight that I got off that took pressure off my joints was good.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the inflammation reduction is also very good for our joints, right?
Oh my
Like
gosh, and
like
Manjaro,
arthritis is a
I
thing that
noticed
runs
a
in our
big
family.
I noticed a big difference in tirzepatide than I
Yeah.
did semaglutide.
Same. Like they
Yeah.
both help with inflammation, but I think you're right. Like I feel like
Yes,
tirzepatide
big difference.
helps considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what's to come. I'm also scared of it because I feel like it's going to be a lot, but I think we've got big things to do, and I'm hoping God will. If y'all could pray for me, if you're praying, folks, I know you two are, but to guide me and what to do here because it
Oh,
is a huge
we do
responsibility.
that anyway.
Yeah,
You
that
don't
it's
have to
just
ask for
trying to
that.
figure out what direction to go. I mean, I got a career and a family, and like I can only do what I can do, which is why
Right.
I'm so grateful and thankful that we have all these other advocates too that are willing to show up for these things. But I can only take off so much PTO. I can only, like I can only do so much. So it's nice to have these other people that are involved in this as well, and be able to speak on things and help others. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
I think it's great, Kimmy, that you've done what you have, and I'm excited to see something out there to help us like it has.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I mean, this is kind of really off the wall, but I read or saw on something recently that they're actually considering giving GLP-1s to people who have had liver transplants.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
I know. And I thought, whoa, what a circle.
Yeah.
Look at us, and then look what's going on with Jesse.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now they're saying people who've had organ transplants, they
Yeah.
want to put them on a GLP-1. I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
They're also testing it for addiction. You know that too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like people have alcohol abuse disorder.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
really
see
cool.
that. I can
Yeah.
see that.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously know plenty of people I think that could, benefit from that. But it's like I'm glad to at least know we're studying these things and seeing where else they could help and what doses would help for those people, especially if they don't have weight issues, like what makes sense for them.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see all of that because this does feel like I feel like this isn't. I think we just have to understand it's not a cure, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy when you've been on this for a year or two to think.
Well, blood pressure
know,
medicine ain't a cure.
No, it's not. And I mean,
Yes.
there is cholesterol medicine.
Yeah,
Like it's just not.
exactly.
So, and we need people to understand that because every weight loss medicine before this has been you treat it, you get off it, and you're done. People don't understand, and they need to understand that this is a disease. And I do think this is this is huge news and a step forward of having this recognized, right? Because like right now, a lot of insurance plans have what they call weight loss exclusions, right? But if you recognize obesity as a disease, which it is, right, then ultimately it should be covered. There shouldn't be even a need for codifying anything, right, for it to go ahead and start being covered. Because I am concerned it takes a long time to get things signed into law and stuff, right, and get these acts approved. But I think there's cool things coming. Y'all know I hate politics. I hate that but at the end of the day, I do find this incredibly necessary because I truly do think that that obesity could take our country out, and that legitimately Medicaid and Medicare are paying for obesity. They're just paying for it on the back half because they're paying for all these other things we've talked about, like what Dad deals with, or with kidney disease, or they're paying for dialysis, or they are paying for it now. They're just going to pay for it on the front. So I'm hoping we see some change. I'm I'm thinking we will. So let's all just stay positive and keep supporting each other. Thank you so much for supporting the Plus Size podcast. Thank you for having time and hanging out with my family. Family, thank you for supporting me in this crazy endeavor. I feel like you guys never see me. Because
I feel like that.
I do feel like that. I don't, and like, I don't know if it's going to get better, and I got to figure this out, but we need more. I need sponsors so I can hire some more people. That's what I need. So that I can like have a life and have people to run some things. Sponsors, please contact me.
What was that gummy thing you were eating?
Yeah, get some Groons gummies in here. Yeah. We're not sponsored, but we would very much like to be Groons. Please reach out.
Would love to be. Thank you. I'm giving you free advertising every day of my life. People ask me all the time, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "These are these great gummies. I love them."
Yeah, I love them. Yeah. Anyway, but
and you don't do the probiotics at all, Sammy. You just do those gummies.
It is a prebiotic and a probiotic.
Okay.
Yeah, they're great.
Bummer.
Right?
They're really good.
I just said that confidently. I don't know if it's both, but it is a pre.
Yeah.
It's definitely a pre.
Didn't we figure it was like $50 a month or something?
Yeah, they are. Let's talk about that, Gruns. They are pretty expensive, but
we're gonna need a special discount for Plus Size listeners.
That's right.
That's what we need.
I just couldn't throw those in there too.
They have some sugar-free ones.
Yeah.
Sugar-free.
Be careful. We don't have a gallbladder. Be careful. I don't know what's gonna be like for us. So I haven't had them. I used to take them before when I had a gallbladder, but now I don't, and everything's weird.
Oh, you took them before too?
Yeah, when I had a gallbladder, yeah, but then I started having all the gallbladder problems. So I haven't taken them since. I just take a probiotic. Yeah. So I know. Listen.
I still got golly.
Yeah. Oh, you got the Goalie ones?
No, I still have my gallbladder. Is what I was saying.
Gallbladder. Oh, I thought you meant Goalie because that's like a supplement. I was
I still got golly. No. I still have golly. Still have golly. My gallbladder.
Gallbladder. For now.
All right, y'all coming here Thanksgiving. What's happening Thanksgiving?
Oh
yeah. We're coming there.
Why I have you all here?
We're coming there.
Well, I have you all.
That's crazy. Is like, don't you guys think it's so funny because we're all on GLPs? We're like, we don't really want to eat that much, and we look at all this food.
Oh yeah, it's funny because when we were in North Carolina, and Magdy's like, "Well, y'all need to come see us for Thanksgiving and all that," and I'm like, everybody in my family's on a GLP-1. I don't know if I want to drive 10 hours to eat a piece of turkey.
Yeah, like I love you guys. Yeah. Why don't we come a different time when it's not centered around food?
But no, if we
holidays, it always is.
Talk so we can at least discuss who's going to do what and bring what and who's coming.
Yeah, okay.
I know Jesse's not coming.
Yes.
So it's just us.
I'm coming. And then the day after Thanksgiving, my friends are taking me on a birthday trip to the mountains.
Fun.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Really? Yeah. Well, Craig and I will be there.
In the mountains or at Thanksgiving?
No, at Thanksgiving.
I'll be there too.
Yes. I'm just kidding.
I just won't be there the day after because I'm going.
We will be.
So will Leif and Warren come?
To Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, we just need to talk and figure out who wants to bring what food and all.
Samantha's in charge of all food and everything else we will cater. That is the rule.
Well, there's always catering.
I will bring the Bob Evans mashed potatoes.
Yeah. I got sweet potato casserole and Craig will do the turkey again.
See? No, you don't want to do it.
What? No turkey?
I love them.
Yeah, because he told me when we talked about it, he goes, I don't want to do that turkey again. That was
he does
way
that?
too much involved. Yeah,
oh no,
it's
Sam will convince him that this is
such a low priority. It's so easy to get a turkey and eat it and cook it and all. Okay. So we don't need to.
I'll do sweet potato casserole.
Turkey is a low priority. That's what we're going to call this episode.
Well, actually, with the way we all are eating on Thanksgiving is not a high priority. It's just getting together and having what we need to sit down and eat.
Well, I would like to argue that the pies are a high priority.
Yeah.
Well, let's don't get yourself pies this time.
No, we need pies.
We get too many every time. I always bring like 5.
We have them for weeks.
However,
eat them all. Even weeks later, when we divide them against the whole family, we still don't eat them all because all we need is a few bites, like the peach muffin.
Listen, speak for yourself, Deborah Gale, because Thanksgiving is my favorite meal.
Same.
Well, I gotta
have mashed potatoes and gravy. It's my one thing.
Remember that time we did it at Jesse's and we had all that food?
We had so much food. It was 4 of us.
Oh no, that was when I got my gallbladder out. I didn't get it.
Yeah. It was just the 4 of us. We had so much food. It was so stupid.
Okay, we're swirling hard. Let me wrap it up. Okay. Family, thank you so much. Community, thank you so much for supporting me. If you love this episode and you like what we are doing, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. You get ad-free listening and early access and bonus content. We would love that. It's $5 or something like that. It's something crazy. Wherever you want. We would love it. Support it. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't want to do that, just give us 5 stars, guys. Those rankings and those comments and all of those different things, especially if you're on Spotify or whatever it may be, like that lifts us up in the system so that people can find us. And as I just mentioned, there are millions of people about to get dropped in this crazy world. They need guidance. So we need your help so we can find them. Okay. And I love you. You're not alone. It's not your fault. Okay. We all know this. Yes. We've all learned. Huh? Okay. All right. And hasta la pasta. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll talk. How do I get out of here now?
Hold on.
Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through the same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name Zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.